What is up guys, welcome back to another GeekaWhat video, and today I'm looking at Cooler Master's first entry into the addressable RGB space with their new, fairly affordable, all-in-one liquid cooler.
Are you ready for us? 'Cause I'm ready for you. Are you ready for us? We can be something new. Are you ready for us? 'Cause I'm ready for you. Are you ready for us? To be something new.
Now before we jump into today's video, if you do enjoy it, make sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out more than you could ever know. Now though, let's look at the physical outsides of the cooler. The 240mm radiator, pressure optimized included fans, sleeve tubing and decent pump design aren't too dissimilar to what we've seen from other manufacturers, including Cooler Master, in quite some time. But this cooler has a very cool trick up its sleeve. It's Cooler Master's first entry into the addressable RGB space. Now, what's so cool about addressable RGBs is that you can pick the individual colour of each separate LED light at any one time. It's digital as opposed to the older analog standard. What that means is you can have fantastic looking effects, a huge array of them, and it also means for a rainbow effect you could have the whole spectrum on show at once rather than over a period of 5 or 10 seconds where your fan or pump has to fade through all of the different colours. Now, I hear you screaming out, James, Thermaltake, Corsair, they've had addressable RGB coolers and fans and stuff like that for really quite some time now. This thing is a bit different. The problem that those guys have is that their software suites are very closed off. They make you buy into the ecosystem. So with Corsair, if you want a wide system spanning effect, which can look superb with their hardware I might add, you need to buy all Corsair products or else it's not going to work. Now that does present other problems. Corsair, for example, don't make graphics cards, so if you wanted to put a graphics card in, the chances are it isn't going to sync up with the rest of your lights in your system. This Cooler Master unit uses a universal 3-pin digital header that's now being supported by many of the latest motherboard releases. Official support is boasted for ASRock, MSI and ASUS motherboards with this header. That means that regardless of where your hardware comes from, you could have an RGB compatible power supply, memory, cooler and case, all from different manufacturers, and these would all sync up nicely. Throw in a RGB motherboard and RGB graphics card from the respective manufacturers, and you're going to have fantastic looking system where all the effects tie in a cohesive manner. Taking a look at what you get in the box, be prepared because there's quite a lot of it. From the actual AIO and fans themselves, you get a load of accessories from mounting hardware for all respective platforms and an instruction manual that is somewhat vague, but from what I know is actually going to be updated just to make it a little bit easier. You also get a range of accessories in terms of connectivity. The first main thing you get is actually a hub. Now this hub's quite clever. It allows you to plug in a load of addressable RGB accessories, meaning you can plug up the two fans and the pump from this cooler onto it and control it through a Cooler Master software suite. You also get 2 addressable RGB cables of different voltages, which will allow you to plug the actual hub up to a motherboard to give you a bit of expansion in terms of the number of headers that you get. Another great thing about the hub is that it's actually powered. Just shove in a SATA power cable and it's actually going to make sure the signal for all of the addressable RGB accessories stays as strong as possible. You also get a 3-pin addressable RGB splitter, allowing you to just populate one port on your motherboard or the hub and plug in all of the addressable RGB cables included with this unit. The hub also features a micro USB port on the bottom, which allows you to plug it up to your motherboard to actually control through the Cooler Master software suite, which I'll come on to in a moment's time. The hub also has a couple more cool features up its sleeve. Now the reset button on any case for me is one that is seldom used. I never ever use the reset button and never have. What you actually get is a cable that will run from your reset header from your case into the hub. What that'll let you do is repurpose the reset button on your case's front panel as a switch to browse between the different RGB modes. You do get the same functionality with physical buttons on the hub itself and LED indicator lights to let you know what the hell is going on, what connections are there, what RGB mode it's in, and the status of your RGB devices. Cooler Master do appreciate though that some people do like to use the reset button on their case, so they do include an actual throughput cable, meaning you can then plug the hub up to the reset front panel header on your motherboard, tapping the reset button for the RGB effects and holding it for 5 seconds to actually function normally to reset your PC system. You also get inside the box a fan splitter, which will allow you to use both the included fans via one 4-pin PWM header on the motherboard as opposed to 2, which is a nice feature. Now in terms of design and build quality, it would be safe to say I've been adequately impressed. The design personally is obviously subjective, looks great to me. I think it isn't too out there, not too over the top, and lets the addressable RGBs do the talking, so to speak. The pump looks fantastic with gloss black plastic, though this does feel a bit too easily scratched and a bit too cheap in person. The top cover, which is supposed to be modular for kind of customization, also popped off for me one too many times, so that would be a slight criticism, but overall there aren't too many complaints to be had. As you can see from the performance figures on screen now, not only is the design not too dissimilar to what we've seen before from Cooler Master, neither are the temperatures, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Cooler Master are famed for making fantastic performing liquid coolers at good price points, and that's what we've seen here. Unlike other manufacturers which outsource the design and development of their liquid cooler pumps to companies like ASUS, Cooler Master do it all in-house, which provides a good advantage to you the consumer and ultimately means you're going to get theoretically better technical support if you do have any problems. Overall, I've really been quite pleased with this unit. Yes, it is quite similar to what we've seen before, but with addressable RGBs added, if you will. But the price point really isn't bad. The performance numbers are pretty damn good, as always, and the build quality is fairly nice. I will put links in the description if you'd like to pick this unit up. If you've got any questions, queries, hit me up either on Twitter, it is at the GeekaWhat, or in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do, and as always, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.